As far as the different types of cars we have here, we have cars that range from the early 1900s, 1910, 1911, 1912, all the way up to 1959. We focus primarily on the golden age of American styling. Where we get all the automobiles is our very, very generous benefactor, Mr. Richard Burdick. He started collecting automobiles about 40 plus years ago. He just decided that he wanted to share all of his automobiles with the general public. And so he founded, the initial museum that he founded was down in Rosanke, Texas, about 50 miles from here, over by Bastrop in the Smithville area. And then that museum is actually called the Central Texas Museum of Automotive History, founded about 32 years ago. Since then, about 3 years ago, he decided he wanted to open up a museum here in the San Marcos area that focused strictly and primarily on American automotive styling. The other museum has a mixture of American as well as European automobiles, but this museum is strictly all American automotive. About 90+% of the automobiles here in the museum have been completely restored from the ground up. Another 5% or so are what we call survivors, which are they've never been restored. They're actually still wearing their same paint, the same chrome, everything. We have some survivors that actually look like they came off the showroom floor. We have some automobiles, like I said, that are valued in the tens of thousands. We have others that are multi-million-dollar automobiles. The Duesenbergs, we carry 3, possibly 4 Duesenbergs at a time here. Each one of those are worth north of $1 million a piece. We have one Duesenberg that's worth close to $3.5 million. The Tucker that you see behind me, because of its rarity, is valued at close to $2.5 million. As far as my favorite car, it would probably have to be the Tucker, because of all of the controversy behind it, as well as all of the revolutionary ideas that Preston Tucker came out with that we still utilize today. It's a very significant automobile that really shaped and the American automotive world. A lot of the applications that he came about or pioneered, we still utilize all those things today. Also because of its rarity, since it is the last one produced and they only made 50 of them, and this is the number 50 car and the lowest mileage car. What we have here is a great representation of the common man's car back in the early 30s. This is a 1932 Ford Roadster, 8-cylinder. Average cost of a car like this back in the day was about between $400 and $500, depending on what kind of accessories you got. So it was pretty much, even though it was during the Great Depression, this is the type of automobile that most people could probably afford. We talked about the 1932 Ford Roadster. Average cost of a vehicle like that was about $400 or so back in 1932. It was a common man's automobile. Average Joe could probably afford something like that. Take a total 180 to a car like this. This was built roughly around the same time. This is a 1930 Duesenberg with the body by Willoughby. Willoughby was the coach builder at the time. This type of an automobile, in relation to the 32 Roadster we just talked about, this automobile was valued at about $20,000 during that same time frame. But this one actually is probably one of the best representations that we have of what we call in the classic car world as a survivor, or perhaps even a time capsule. This car is actually still wearing its original paint, original chrome, all original interior, and this is absolutely a fabulous representation of that. It's a 1956 Packard 2-door coupe Sport 400. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so everything that we bring in actually just goes to keep the lights on and the maintenance for the vehicles and so forth and so on. And so general admission to the museum is generally $10, for adults, but we offer discounts for military, our students, law enforcement, firefighter, educators, Boy Scouts, as well as seniors. And we also, for children 6 to 12, it's only $5, and children under 6 are free. It's a blast working here. It's kind of the dream job, I guess you could say. Every time people walk in, especially a lot of the guys that are into cars, the first thing out of their mouth is, this has got to be the dream job. You're the luckiest guy in the world to work here, and it's every day's an adventure. Every day's a lot of fun.